Hello and welcome back to Too Many Books. My name is Sean, and today we have a Broken Binding unboxing, and it's the first of their new subscriptions. So hooray! This, my friends, is their bi-monthly sci-fi and fantasy subscription, which you're probably thinking, wait a minute, don't they already have a sci-fi and fantasy subscriptions? Well, they do, individually. So every single month they have a fantasy title, which is kind of like an older fantasy title. Every 2 months they have a sci-fi title, which is an older sci-fi title. And I'm not saying that these are all old titles, but like they're not like current releases. You know, they don't have to be like decades old. They could just be a handful of years old. This one is the new series, which is every other month, which is a new release. So this title, which is very vaguely Killing Monsters, being the theme, is a title that was just released, I believe, here in the U.S. on September 30th. We're obviously about a week in October, but hey, you know, shipping time, coming from overseas, it is what it is. What's really annoying about this series, this subscription, is they're not going to tell you ahead of time what the book is. But thankfully, we have some people that are really good at guessing this stuff, so we have The Witcher, Crossroads of Ravens by Andrzej Sapkowski. Or Andrzej Sapkowski, if you're going to do that. Translated by David French into English. What a fun name. So unfortunately, I don't know any of the production details going into this. Oh, look at that. They just give you your own little wafer sticker. They, if you're like me, and you collect these Broken Binding books, you keep the wafer stickers. I'm weird that way. Is this Jeff Brown artwork? Cover art is by Mikaël Bourgoin. Typography by Jeff Brown. Foil design by Rachel St. Clair. Endpaper is by Rene Aigner. So this is not Jeff Brown artwork. He did the lettering, though. This is the Witcher prequel. I believe this is chronologically the very first Witcher tale as far as, all the previously published ones. The White Wolf, stamped, blind stamped in black on the back. Anyways, if you're not familiar with the Witcher series, it follows Geralt of Rivia, who is a witcher. He's going around hunting down monsters. Now, these are not necessarily signed, so this one is obviously not signed. But originally published in Polish as that. And then, so chronologically, this is going to take place first. This follows a very young Geralt, fresh out of his Witcher training. A young little Witcher graduate finds himself on a quest being under the tutelage of a more grizzled Witcher. But anywho, if you haven't read the stories, you should check them out. They're good fun. You should check out the series, the TV series with Henry Cavill for the seasons that Cavill was in. Obviously, the new season with Hemsworth hasn't come out yet. I don't think it's come out yet, or I've just like subconsciously blocked it out of my mind. But anyways, or play the games if you're a gamer. Witcher 3 is an absolute masterpiece. Witcher 2 is really good. I haven't played Witcher 1. That's because Witcher 1 is PC only. Witcher 2 was like Assassin of Kings. Good little action adventure with RPG elements. And then, of course, Witcher 3 is just a action-adventure RPG open-world extravaganza, highly regarded as one of the best games ever made. I don't know if I would say best game ever made, but it's very good. You could play that thing through and dedicate hours upon hours of your life. And then you can supplement it with reading Sapkowski's books and stories, which I don't think have ever gotten really a fine press treatment. They still haven't. I mean, Broken Binding is very much a small press, but it's not a fine press. They basically just do fancier trade editions. The interiors for these titles are going to be identical to what you would get in a regular trade edition. What sets it apart and what is going to make it a little bit different is some exclusive artwork, in this case, the end papers, and I imagine the cover art. I don't actually know what the trade cover art looks like. So it very well could be just the trade cover art. I should have double-checked that, but I like it. It's nice artwork. The end papers are definitely exclusive, at least. But this title from the Broken Binding is only available to that Sci-Fi Fantasy bi-monthly one, which, as I mentioned, is a subscription model, so you would have to be subscribed. You don't know what you're going to get until you get it, it's a choice. I'm not a huge fan of it, but apparently, they're trying to get in line with other book boxes that keep things a mystery, like a Lumicrate. I know a Lumicrate likes to keep people guessing, so I'm guessing it's kind of in line with that. Where you just kind of get a theme and a general vague description of what you might have, and then, you try to figure it out from there. They announced the next one already, which is going to be, theoretically 2 months. I mean, it should be a little bit less than 2 months, depending how shipping is. If you don't want spoilers, well, you've already spoiled yourself by, seeing this unboxing here, so you've already stuck around for, the long run. It is rumored to be a Ken Liu novel, which is fantastic, because I've been wanting to read more Ken Liu. I believe that one is going to be signed by Liu, and I'm excited to see what they do with that. I've drawn a blank on the name of it, but if you search for Ken Liu new book, I'll put it in the description below, but if you search for Ken Liu new book, that's going to be the book. Ken Liu, works in addition to writing as a translator himself. So, he doesn't have to translate his book. He translates his books just for you already. They're already in English. But anyways, if you want a copy of the Broken Bindings edition of Crossroads of Ravens, you will have to go to the secondary market. It shouldn't be too expensive. But, secondary market is where you're going to have to rely on for this title, which is, like I said, just like a fancy trade edition. You can find plenty of trade editions out there. I'm sure there are other book presses, other book boxes that have their own little versions of this title with perhaps different artwork. You might even be able to find one out there that's signed by Sapkowski, but I don't know. I'm not sure. But anyways, thank you very much for watching. I am subscribed to all 3 of the subscriptions from the Broken Binding, so be sure to subscribe to the channel here if you want to see them month after month. I do at least one book review a week with plenty of unboxing videos in between here and there. But check out the Broken Binding, check out the world of The Witcher, and we'll see you around next time.